Good morning. Today we are going to multiply mixed numbers together. So at the top of your note page, go ahead and write that. Multiply mixed numbers. That's the title of today's lesson. Let's start with some notes. Here are the steps. Here are the steps to multiplying mixed numbers together. Step 1 is change both mixed numbers to improper fractions. So now you know why we had yesterday's lesson. Yesterday's lesson was on how to change mixed numbers to improper fractions, and you may have been thinking, why would I need to know how to do that when I can never leave an answer as an improper fraction anyways? Why would I want to change it into a form that's improper? This is why. In order to multiply mixed numbers together, the first thing you do is you change the mixed numbers into improper fractions. Step 2, cross cancel. And that is what we learned on Monday. We learned how to simplify our answer before we even get our answer. We do that with cross canceling. Step 3 is multiply normally. And multiply normally means multiply your numerator times your numerator and your denominator times your denominator. And step 4 is simplify. And you might be saying, why do I have to simplify if I already cross-canceled? Well, cross-canceling, that reduces your answer in advance. So you won't have to find the GCF and divide your numerator and denominator by the GCF. But you will, almost every time when you're doing these, you'll have an improper fraction as your answer. Since you change both factors into improper fractions before you multiply them together, your product will also be an improper fraction. So since you can't leave an answer that way, you'll have to change it into either a mixed or whole number. Let's do an example of this together. Let's say we had 3 1/2 times 2 3/4. Okay, let's go through this step by step. Step 1 is change both mixed numbers to improper fractions. And we learned how to do that yesterday. You multiply your whole number times your denominator and you add your numerator. So 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Your denominator stays the same, so that's 7/2. Times 2 times 4 is 8 plus 3 is 11. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 3 is 11. So 11 is your numerator and the denominator stays the same. Okay. So we did step 1, which is change both mixed numbers to improper fractions. Step 2 is cross cancel, and that's you cross cancel if you can. You can't always. In this case, you can't because there's no common factors between 7 and 4, and there's no common factors between 2 and 11. So that's step 2. Step 3 is multiply normally. So you multiply your numerator times your numerator and your denominator times your denominator. 7 times 11 is 77. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, that's that step, multiply normally. And step 4 is simplify. Like I said, we have an improper fraction for our answer, because we changed both factors to improper fractions, so that means our product is going to be an improper fraction too. We can't leave it as an improper fraction, so we have to change it to a mixed or whole number by dividing the denominator into the numerator. So the denominator goes outside the house, it's the divisor. The numerator goes inside the house, it's the dividend. Now we use our times tables and we think, what times 8 gets us closest to 77? Go ahead and take a second and think about that. All right, I'm back. I had to go do something real quick. So What did you figure out for how many times 8 can fit into 77? Well, 8 times 10, you know, is 80, so it's going to be under that. And 8 times 9 is 72. So we put our 9 here. 9 times 8 is 72. 77 minus 72 is 5. Our remainder is our new numerator. The divisor is our denominator. So the answer is 9 and 5/8. Let's do another example together. Erase this. Okay. Let's do 4 1/2 times 2 1/4. Okay. First step, change both mixed numbers to improper fractions. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So 9 halves, because the denominator stays the same. Times 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And the denominator stays the same. Second step, cross cancel. You can't cross cancel here. There's nothing to cross cancel because 2 and 9 have no common factors and 9 and 4 have no common factors. Next, we multiply normally. 9 times 9 is 81. And then 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, now this is an improper fraction, so we have to simplify. So we divide 8 into 81. 8 can fit into itself once. 1 times 8 is 8. 8 minus 8 is 0. We bring down the 1. 8 can fit into 1 0 times. 0 times 8 is 0. I almost wrote 8. And 1 minus 0 is 1. Our remainder is our numerator. Our divisor is our denominator. The answer is 10 and 1/8. Let's do one more example together. Okay. Let's do 3 2/5. No, let's change that. 3 3/5. Let's do 3 3/5 times 2 2/4. Okay. First step, change both mixed numbers to improper fractions. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 3 is 18, and our denominator stays the same. Times 2 times 4 is 8, plus 2 is 10, and our denominator stays the same. Now, second step, cross cancel. Are there any common factors between 18 and 4? They're both even numbers, so you know they at least have to have 2 as a common factor. So 2 can fit into 18 9 times, 2 can fit into 4 2 times. Now, are there any common factors between 5 and 10? Yeah, 5 is a common factor. 5 can fit into itself once, and it can fit into 10 2 times. Now we multiply straight across. 9 times 2 is 18. 1 times 2 is 2. Now this is an improper fraction, so we divide our denominator into our numerator. 2 can fit into 18 9 times. 9 times 2 is 18. 18 minus 18 is 0, so the answer is 9. Sometimes your answer will be a whole number. Okay, that's how you multiply mixed numbers together. You change both mixed numbers to improper fractions. You cross cancel if you can. Multiply normally, numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. Then you simplify because you'll almost always have an improper fraction as your answer. All right?